Hello and welcome to another Single H. So your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single H.
So we're gonna share some moments of advocacy with you tonight on this episode of the Single H Show. Over the last few weeks, transcended media has really been out on the streets, hitting everything hard. There's some issues that have been going on around the worship center where I serve. There is some issues that are going on around a neighboring town that we have connections to, that we just really feel drawn to advocate for. And there has just been so much going on.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to talk about some of those things, and I really want to get Single H's response to a lot of this. So the first clip that we are about to hear, and then we'll come back in and we'll have some responses from Single H, and that is a conversation that I had with a interviewer as I participated in a rally showing support for a transgender student near the worship center where I serve, and the situation where parents had taken things way out of hand and made an issue worse than it actually was. So we're going to play that clip right now, and we'll come back and speak a little bit more on it.
Why are you here?
I'm here because trans kids, this is so off balance. It's one kid that the school worked out completely how to handle this. Completely. At everyone's better interest. But it got taken outside of that control, and it's blown up to something that it should have never been. The school handled it. They said a situation that the kids that are involved agreed on, and now it's this. So I am here, I'm literally here for one kid. For that one kid to know that they're important.
And that, what do you feel about the mental health forums?
The mental health forums from the school board?
Yes, that they were talking about passing.
Okay, I feel that that does not fit this situation. I think that it's another way to display a falsehood about this situation. I think it is another way to prohibit actual conversation about this situation.
Okay.
Yes.
And the situation, as I understand it, is that there is a small group of girls that are still changing with the trans students.
Okay, so that's my response too.
Yeah.
Is there is by choice.
They support her. They
And
love her.
in
She's their
support
friend.
that they do it. No one's being forced to do it. So I want to make sure that's clear, because it's not an attack on you, but any question can become weighted when it's not.
Can I explain exactly what the...
So within that situation, as everybody just heard, this school board had everything laid out. Not the school board. The school had everything laid out, and they had it laid out in such a way that the problem was resolved. But then, not just parents not connected to the issue at all, but actually out-of-town protesters started to arrive to make this situation even worse than it actually was. They stirred up a hornet's nest where everything had already been resolved. Do you have any feelings or comments about when that happens?
Sadly, people don't know when situations are solved when it doesn't match up with their belief system.
That's very true. Sometimes people... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And this is absolutely one of those moments.
Within this one. And sometimes they don't care if the situation was handled properly or efficiently, because they don't like the results of it.
Yeah.
They don't like the what came through because it doesn't reach their political ideal. Or unfortunately, in some of these cases, the school board members rile it back up because it doesn't fit their political agendas.
Yes. Sorry, folks, you might hear some meowing. That is Martha Mills coming in to join in the conversation.
Yes. So, so we do apologize for the sound of the extreme kitten, Martha Mills.
Yes.
So the next video clip that we're going to play is actually in response to this last situation. I was able to be present at the school board meeting relating that is the school board for this school area. And I spoke a little bit about how that we really do have these sources of fear that flood in to rile up fear. And they make problems worse so that they can eradicate things that they don't like. So we'll play that clip now. With you this evening, I also come to you this evening as a parent of a transgender child. This evening, I watched the power of fear take place in loud voices, screaming remarks, and pushing a fear such to an extreme that a fear takes away the opportunity to really hear the problems that are taking place. I, too, went through a journey with my son. I saw the freedom of a new haircut. I saw the freedom of being able to use his name and his identity. I saw a smile that disappeared for years return. Every time I sit and I hear fear-based language creates villains, even within the attempt of caring for other people. Now, as I share this with you, I want to tell the entire board, thank you. You are trying your best to take care of children. And within that process, we trip over ourselves sometimes. As we try to do our best for everyone's children, some children end up getting hurt. And sometimes it's the ones that are accidentally villainized because of what we think the right path is. Sometimes we lay our religion and it gets in the way. Sometimes we lay our personal beliefs and understandings. We let the things that we don't understand take control, and they become stumbling blocks that begins to hurt another person. I would like to thank you, my dear young friend, for the language that you used earlier this evening. The language that you used earlier this evening was a challenge for us to actually listen to the voices of the individuals that are becoming hurt and or villainized. The voices that are being villainized don't feel safe to come into this place to speak because of the loud, fear-based language. This is a battlefield that could harm them. I'm begging you to do your best to care for all.
Time.
So that clip is just sort of me speaking to the school board and trying to get them to separate themselves from all of the yelling and screaming. I have never been in places so full of rage, not just hate. It's like rage in those rooms, and it's really scary.
Yes. And rage is technically how I always see rage. Rage is a form of denial. And it's the most unwelcome phase for people around it, but the most welcome for the person who's in it.
Yeah.
Because they're getting attention.
That's a fair statement. The rage really is nothing more than an individual trying to get attention to themselves instead of having a rationalized conversation.
Like how anger is ultimately a form of sadness. Rage is also a form of sadness, but it's at its prime when it's a form of denial. And
a prime example of that, and I think you've shared it really well, I think a prime example of that is Orange 47. Orange 47 is only in conversations with people that absolutely agree with him. But anybody that doesn't agree with him, he becomes so confrontational, it's hard for that individual to be in a place that they can talk. I remember when that he ran for office the first time, and he kind of kept this conversational environment going on with Ms. Clinton. Like when she was walking around the stage talking, like he was like there hovering around her. It's the rage really does still the conversation, and it keeps the focus on the person screaming and not the topic at hand.
I can tell you, the worst time that I've had to talk about being trans with someone is when they're already enraged by itself.
Yeah.
Because once someone's in the rage form of denial, they're kind of beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I would count JK as a person that is in rage denial.
That's fair.
Because they're kind of at the point that you can try, but that denial rage wall is pretty hard to get through.
Yes. And anybody that tries to speak against them is a horrible, vile person.
Yeah.
That really has no reason to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those two things kind of tie together. That the first sound clip was the interview that I was a part of with the situation at the middle school with the locker room policy. The second was the situation of actually trying to discuss and deal with that at the school board. But then I want to play one more clip of a conversation I was able to have for a very dear friend. I have a very dear friend who is a school board member, and they have recently allowed others into their journey discovering themselves as a MTF transgender person.
Yeah.
So the next conversation that you're going to hear in this video is something that is kind of steps outside of the norm of everything. Normally on the Single H show, we talk about defending transgender people from school board members that want to do things to harm them. But this situation is quite beautiful. It's the other side of the coin. It is a school board member allowing others into their transitioning journey and inviting them to know them for who they really are. So we'll hear this and then come back to it.
Thank you for allowing me to speak with you again this evening. This evening, I am here as much for Ms. Durney as I am for my own child. I am here tonight because of the actions that happen in this board does filter down to every other level of leadership and education. The way that you care for each other, the way that you support each other is observed not just by the parents as visual here tonight, but also the teachers, and through those teachers, the students. They learn what it means to be a cohesive community through the example that is set at the most highest level. This evening, as I am here, Carol, to celebrate you again, thank you for being brave. I'm also here because I want you to set an example that will care for my child who is a student at Del Lago High School. See, I'm brave. I want you to know that I actually belong here. I'm not some out-of-towner that's coming in to say something that you don't want to hear. It's my child that you have to take care of. And as you look at your notes instead of me, and as you also go through other things that you have to work through, that you set an example of respect as you listen. I'm here because you listen here. My son's taken care of. My son who needs to be looked at and seen and not ignored. Needs to be looked at and seen and cared for instead of looking at notes for the next thing that's going to come up in this meeting. My child needs to be looked at and respected. As many of you have done and one has not, please try to do that for all of our children. I've never tried to attack in these statements, but please watch and pay attention to everyone that speaks. The challenge within this is last time, so many people knew, for some reason we don't know how, what was going to happen, and they came first. But these are the people that are watching you. These are the people that are paying attention to your actions, your words, and sometime they're going to vote, and they're going to weigh all of that on how that you respond to this situation. Please show your constituents that you care. Please show my son that you care. Thank you all for allowing me to speak.
So in that moment, it's me just kind of really trying to process with everyone else, hey, this is the reality. And how that this school board handles things, it also reflects how that they handle things for people's kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever something being done internally, it's a direct reflection how it's going to be when it is facing out.
Yeah. But it's not just within them. Other people pick up and feed off of it,
yeah.
And they act that way too. I think that's what the biggest problem is with the school board in question near the worship center, is the individuals that are a part of that school board. They create the atmosphere that draws people to come in and yell along with them.
They normalized it.
Mm-hmm.
That made it okay. I'm also being the one that's using filter words at the moment to make things a little bit more ironically straightforward.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, I don't think that's filter. I think that's straightforward.
Yeah.
They normalize anger.
Yeah.
They really normalize the rage.
And that's happening from the top line of the country down. That's how those things work.
Yeah.
For lack of better words at the moment, Orange 47 is kind of a cult leader in a sense. People,
okay, let's use the strategic language.
Yes.
It appears that Orange 47 might be a cult leader.
But it's more or less, he's the one pitching the ideology.
He appears to be the person pitching the ideology, yes.
The ideology, it even goes down from the ideology itself got him first, and it goes all the way down the totem pole to reflect that.
Yes.
That's a better way how I should have explained it.
That is a very good explanation.
That's why...
And I want you to say it again with the modifiers that you used, so that everyone hears the modifiers. It appears that
the ideology itself got him, so it goes down the totem pole. That's why sometimes with things like that, we say people are beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
That they have gone too far, that it is not helpful for you, and not worth it at all to try to get them out of it.
Yes.
Because you're not going to. That's their job, to get to a point that you can.
Yeah. And one of the places that really pushes it far beyond is that rage that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, is what I'm now going to call it denial rage.
Denial rage. And then there's absolutely nothing you can do to ever get back to a point of conversation.
Yes, and I'm going to really quickly highlight and underline. Denial rage. Highlight and underline. That is currently the center of it. Or at least something more simplified to see as the center.
Yeah.
The humanity is a part of it. It's always is. The blindness to point of views are always a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the denial rage is the core of it at the center right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the loudest voices have it. They have it. So the best thing we can do is to make sure that the lower voices on that totem pole, which is your schoolboy leaders, which is the local bigot.
That appears to be the local bigot.
That appears to be the local bigot.
Yeah.
If we can get them out of it, same way as it went down, it can also go up.
Yes.
So you can always strike up with hope.
Yeah. And that...
Well, I said striking up still makes the most sense.
Well, I want to respond to that. Striking up is awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the power language is striking down. It's keeping people down. But we need to figure out ways to strike up in a way that we don't fall into the other traps.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to strike up with it. Because that strike up can counterbalance the counting down.
Yeah.
Right now, our only goal is to get that to 0. And then once we strike up, we'll be beyond it.
Yes.
Our 0 is their top line.
Yeah.
If we can get past that top line, we're good. We
Yes.
just need to get far enough past that they can't catch up.
I was in a conversation last night with a group of people, and that was the exact point that they made, what you just said. It was, some people just want to get to a point that they're left alone. They want to get back to 0.
That is the only thing anyone who trans wants, anyone who's a part of any marginalized community wants.
Mm-hmm.
We like want to be left alone and seen as people.
Yes. And then you get this whole pushback. Well, if you want to be left alone, why are you pushing for all these things? But the whole reality of that is that it appears that they're pushing against, so you got to push to get to the place that you can be left alone.
We're pushing for the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And our bare minimum isn't appealing any of your rights. We're like making sure we have the same ones.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I'm also going to say this. That because someone said something, that because they have the right to free speech, doesn't mean they don't have the right to be said, somebody else to say that you said a wrong statement. It doesn't mean they don't have freedom from consequences.
That is absolutely a strong statement. And I'm glad that you're the person that made it.
Because freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences.
Absolutely.
If we had freedoms of consequences, you think that could be be written on the piece of paper? No, we don't have freedom from consequences. Because consequences is from the natural chaos of living.
Yes.
That because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean you don't have freedom from chaos.
That's true.
AKA freedom from getting put in place.
Yeah. And that's what everybody is all about, screaming about freedom of speech when they get caught in the moment of dealing with the reality of consequences.
Yep.
Yeah. And we just need to make sure that no one's being hurt or harmed during those moments of freedom of speech.
Yep.
Well, thank you for this very special episode. We want to apologize to Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery for not being able to get to their ad this week.
And Beanies, sorry.
And Beanies, we're sorry we couldn't get to you. But we will do our public service announcement. Please remember, avoid Orange 47. It's just like Orange 45, but now more deadly. And we will not forget to plug your stuff.
Yet, come on down to the Single 8 sticker store. Buy anything from Power Rangers to RPG stuff.
And you can get to the Single 8 Show sticker store by going to our Instagram page at Transcended Media, going to the link tree and clicking in to go to the Single H sticker store. And don't forget the Single H art videos.
Yet come down to the Single 8 art YouTube page and we'll have more full-length videos. Come down and enjoy the weird shorts currently of that fun, cool thing that had been happening to take a break from chaos.
Yes. All right. That was the Single 8 show for this week.
Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single 8. And please remember, try your best, folks.